From the Tarble Arena in Kenosha, Wisconsin, we're on the campus of Carthage College. It is Carthage College Lady Red basketball this afternoon as the Lady Reds open up the home portion of their schedule as they take on the UW La Crosse Eagles. Good afternoon, everyone. John Weiser with you. Glad you're along. It'll be a doubleheader here this afternoon between the Lady Reds and La Crosse and the Redmen and La Crosse today. We'll have two games for you. We kick things off first with women's basketball this afternoon. The 1-1 Lady Reds taking on the 3-1 La Crosse Eagles. Carthage splitting their games last weekend as part of the UW Stevens Point tip-off tournament, knocking off Ripon on Saturday, and then falling to Luther College in the championship game of the Stevens Point tip-off classic last weekend. And really the story in the loss to Luther, 76-62, the turnovers. The Lady Reds turned the ball over 26 times, only 9 assists in that ball game. Other than that, they shot the ball well, 50% in the second half, and they out-rebounded the Norse 36-28 on the glass. So really it was the turnovers that put the Lady Reds in a hole early in that ball game. They were down by as many as 15 early in the second half. A furious comeback midway through that second half, a 14-0 run that tied the ball game up at 53 all, but the Lady Reds fell short in that championship game, losing to Luther by a score of 76-62. So Lady Reds looking to rebound here at home in their home opener against a La Crosse team that's coming off an exciting victory last night in Chicago, as the Eagles edged the Vikings of North Park 68-66 in a buzzer beater, as Rachel Atchison stole an inbounds pass after the Jenna Anderson tied the game on a layup at 66 all. North Park inbounded the ball and then took a timeout. And with 6 seconds left, they misfired on the inbounds pass. It was stolen by Rachel Atchison, their leading scorer, and she drove in for the game-winning layup as the clock struck 0. And La Crosse on the road improved their record to 3-1 on the season. Kind of a tale of two halves for La Crosse last night, as they struggled early in that first half but came out on fire in the second half, particularly Atchison, who was limited to just 4 points in the first half. She finished with 29 points, scoring 25 in the second frame in 35 minutes of play to lead her team in scoring. Mackenzie Miller chipped in 14, the only players in double figures. A double-double for Mackenzie Miller, 14 points and 10 rebounds in the win. This La Crosse team picked to finish 8th in the Wisconsin League this year, as voted on by the head coaches and sports information directors of the WIAC. And their roster includes 9 freshmen, 4 sophomores, and 3 juniors. But Rachel Atchison, the sophomore, who reached double figures in 14 games a year ago, is leading the team in scoring coming into this weekend, averaging 18 points per game. So she is the focal point of the offense and the focal point of the Lady Reds here this afternoon. They need to contain her and keep her in check here this afternoon. So it'll be the Eagles and the Lady Reds from the Tarble Arena. Plenty of room for you here this afternoon. Come on out. 3 games this afternoon. We've got the Lady Reds, followed by the Redmen and La Crosse at 4, and then the University of St. Francis will take on Aurora University at 6 o'clock here at the Tarble Arena. So plenty of basketball action on this foggy and gray Saturday afternoon. So if you're looking for some family activity, come on down to the Tarble Arena here at Carthage College. We'll pause and take a 60 break. When we come back, we'll visit with head coach Tim Bernero and get his thoughts on the Lady Reds, find out where they're at both mentally and physically when we come back on AM 1050 WLIP. Welcome back. Tarble Arena this afternoon. A doubleheader kicks things off this afternoon with the women's team. The Lady Reds taking on UW La Crosse, and the Eagles come to town on back-to-back games for the Eagles, joined now by head basketball coach Tim Bernero. And Tim, had a week to kind of think about what took place last weekend up at Stevens Point. You had a week to kind of work things out. How did this week go as far as a break in the action here and a chance to get back on the practice floor?
I think pretty well. I think we resigned ourselves to the fact of what happened last Sunday, and I don't think anybody was pleased with the outcome there against Luther, and I think the kids understood what some of our shortcomings were in that game, and we tried to work on fixing those things this week, and I think we feel pretty good about it. And having said that, we won't know until we see that in the game again. I mean, it's nice to do it in practice, and I think we said that about Luther. You can't You can't make that look as it does in a game. Simulating it, as well as they do it. So we kind of, we went over things. We wanted to make sure everyone knew. I think we knew our assignments. We kind of got a little flustered and stopped going where we were supposed to be going. And that was one of the things we talked about. Is that when things get difficult, you got to go where you're supposed to go. Now there's counters to everything, but if it's a press break or a zone offense or something, you have to. Sometimes they're going to beat you up or hold you or whatever. You still got to try to get there, because if they don't, it's the next person that's supposed to be coming through there. Now you get into a spacing issue, or people kind of pile up, and now it kind of breaks out. And I think over time, I think a lot of people have recognized us as a pretty good offensive team, that you have to try to take out a flow. And I think they took us out of our flow a little bit. Luther did, and I think you could see the difference in the two games. Ripon didn't, and we were pretty efficient, and Luther did. And having said that, on the bright side of things, we look back and we shot 52%, and we were plus 11 on the boards in 2 games. It was just the turnovers that kept us from doing that all the way through the game.
I've always said, and you'll probably agree with this, that from time to time in season, it's more about Carthage versus Carthage than is Carthage versus the opponent today. And I get the feeling maybe today is a little bit more of Carthage versus Carthage to get you back on track.
Yeah, and that's the thing, as you adjust year to year, and everyone kind of, you hear all the questions. Well, are you going to be as good? Are you this? What are you going to do without these guys? Or that's all valid and relevant. And I think sometimes early in the season, like you say, John, I think sometimes you have to find what your identity as a team is. It's not exactly the same as it was before. There's some basic tenets you try to stick to, but who's going to do those things? Who you going to when you need a basket? Who do you, when you need a stop? Who do you want on the floor? Those kind of things that you try to figure out in practice. But when the lights go on and you play the games, some people react better. Some people react a little differently than they do in practice. And that's where I'm still kind of trying to find our way. Is that we got to find the consistency of doing those things. You saw the game against Luther where we were kind of dragging for a while, and then we ran off 14 points in a row and looked pretty good doing it, and we got stops, and we got executed stuff on the offensive end. That's what we've had, especially the last couple of years. We've got to find that consistency to do those things without big dips in production.
Anyone in particular you're looking to see step up here, or you want to get going here?
I think we were pretty balanced. I think we just didn't, I think everybody across the board turned the ball over, so I can't really just pick on the guards or the post players or whatever. So I think that's a collective job we got to get better at. I think we'll start getting some production from the bench. I think Morgan Harris and Allison Riley and Ashley Cunningham are comfortable, and they just have to be aggressive. We talked about that with some of the people that had struggled a little bit. Hey, be aggressive in whatever you do. I mean, if it doesn't work out, we don't mean to be reckless, but be aggressive. A lot of good things happen from that. If you're passive and unsure, I kind of asked that question. There's a saying that they coaches use, as far as communicating, and it says a quiet team is a scared team. And I kind of asked the kids, I said, you guys scared? Because we socially talk a lot, but when and sometimes in scrimmages or defensive situations or offense, we kind of get quiet. And I said, work through it, talk through it, communicate it to each other. There's nothing worse than I thought you had her. No, I thought you had her, and they make an open three, or whether it's whatever defense you're in, or offensively, I thought we were running this. Nobody said anything. Well, somebody needs to say something. That's the point guard or somebody with the ball. It can't always be us doing, as a coaching staff, choreographing every step. I mean, you try to do that as much, but they got to echo it to each other, and then through the defensive stuff especially, you've got to communicate screens and help and different things.
Your opponent, the La Crosse Eagles, come in at 3-1, second of back-to-back games. They won a last-second thriller last night down in Chicago over another CCIW opponent in North Park. So kind of a tale of two different halves for La Crosse last night in that ball game against North Park.
Yeah, and if you look at the stats, it was pretty glaring because their leading scorer had 4 in the first half and then went for 25 in the second half. So the Atchison kid, number 15, is capable of scoring. She's a great three-point shooter. She puts the ball on the floor pretty aggressively, so we've got to do a good job on her. And their big post player, Miller, did a good job last night. And I think when you see them play somebody in your league, you get a frame of reference for how they are. They seem to be pretty aggressive attacking the basket on the dribble. They have a couple shooters around the perimeter, and then the big kid does a lot of the stuff inside. And defensively, they're they'll mix up a little bit. They'll man-to-man, they'll zone, they'll press you a little bit. So we've got to be ready for that. I think we're aware of it, and I think we're ready for it, and we'll see how we handle it and kind of make them have to adjust to us.
As a strategy on a second of back-to-back, do you try and push the tempo a little bit here?
I think we would like to, and I think we're capable of doing that, and I think we should be fresher. I mean, sometimes you never know how that plays out. I mean, we took a day off and had practice 3 and, had a whole week to get ready, and maybe they're in a nice rhythm because they played right away. They had a little success and won a close game at the end, like you said, and, you never know how the psyche of the teams are, but I think we should be able to get into the game and hopefully deeper in the game, and that'll start showing, and we can hopefully wear them down a little bit.
A couple of keys for a victory?
I think containing them off the dribble so that they don't get to the free throw line or get clean looks at the basket. And then I think for us, getting into our offensive stuff and making them have to guard. I think we've got a pretty good variety of offense, and we can score from different places. I think if we make them guard both sides of the floor, I think we'll get good shots. And as a rule, without jinxing anything, I guess as a rule, when we get good shots, we usually shoot a high percentage, and that's, we talked about that on the way home last Sunday. We took 87 shots in 2 games. That's not a ton, and we're not really trying to hold it, but part of that is because we threw it to the other team, a third of the time. So with the 46 turnovers. So getting to, eliminating the turnovers is going to be something we're looking at all the time. I'm really pleased, like I said, with how we rebound the ball. This will be a different test because they're pretty physical too, and they have more size. Luther was physical but didn't have the size that we do, so we were able to out-rebound them that way just by being bigger and being aggressive. They're going to come at you with some good size kids that are going to be physical, and we'll see how we stand up to that.
Good luck today.
Thanks, John.
Head basketball coach Tim Bernero, the Carthage Lady Reds, joining us on our pregame as the Lady Reds open up the home portion of their schedule this afternoon, taking on the UW Lacrosse Eagles. We'll be back with the starting lineups and tip-off of this afternoon's game right after this on AM 1050 WLIP.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tarble for this afternoon's home opener between Carthage College and the University of Wisconsin Lacrosse. The NCAA promotes good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. The NCAA, the CCIW, the Carthage thank you for your cooperation. Please direct your attention to the American flag at the north end of the arena. It draped the coffin of Captain Frank Batter, a former Carthage student who died in Vietnam in 1970. The flag is a gift to the cause and his parents. Captain Bavard's Medals of Honor can be viewed in the display cases in the entry hall near the lower south doors of Tarble Arena. In remembering Captain Bavard, we pay tribute to all who have sacrificed their lives for our country, and honor those who today put themselves in harm's way in service to America. To honor America, please remain standing to the plane of our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Carthage College Crimson quintet with our national anthem here this afternoon. Let's head down to the scorers table. Adam King has our starting lineups.
And your Carthage Lady Reds with a record of 1-1. Let's meet the University of Wisconsin Lacrosse Eagles. A 5'9" junior guard out of Sparta, Wisconsin, number 12, Jenna Anderson. A 5'10" junior forward out of Westby, Wisconsin, wearing number 14, Maggie Bishop. A 5'6" sophomore forward out of East Troy, Wisconsin, number 15, Rachel Atchison. A 5'8" sophomore forward out of Sheboygan, Wisconsin, number 30, Kara Selk. And a 6'1" sophomore center out of Chatfield, Minnesota, number 55, Mackenzie Miller. The head coach for the Eagles is Lois Herron. She's assisted by Matt Kellier, Scott Crosse, and Jessica Smith. Are you ready? And now let's get the starting lineup for your Carthage Lady Reds. At guard, a 5'6" junior from Richmond Burton High School out of Spring Grove, Illinois, number 11, Erin Thomas. At forward, a 6'1" junior from Lincoln Way North High School out of Frankfort, Illinois, number 10, Taylor Boardman. At forward, a 6' junior from Roselle Lake Park, Itasca, Illinois, number 3, Alexis Hahn. At guard, a 5'6" senior from Charlotte Lutheran High School from South Milwaukee, Wisconsin, number 20, Casey Kleiner. And at guard, a 5'8" senior from Carmel Catholic High School out of Island Lake, Illinois, number 12, Aaron Quinn. The head coach for your Lady Reds is Tim Bernero. He's assisted by Maggie McCloskey. Good luck to both teams.
So there you have our starting lineups for the Eagles. It'll be Anderson, Bishop, Atchison, their leading scorer, Selk and Mackenzie Miller, their leading rebounder. The starting five for Wisconsin Lacrosse. And for the Lady Reds, Alexis Hahn, Taylor Boardman, Aaron Thomas, Aaron Quinn, and Casey Kleiner. Our officials this afternoon, Mark Rapinski, Mark Wolfel, and Matt Andrews. UW Lacrosse in the maroon jerseys, maroon shorts trimmed out in white and gray. Lady Reds, white jerseys, white shorts trimmed out in red and black. Lady Reds looking to get back on the winning side of things here this afternoon after dropping that championship game a week ago Sunday at Stevens Point. Boardman and Miller will jump center, and the opening tip brought down by Boardman to Thomas. And the Lady Reds will control here to start our ball game, working it right to left as I see it here from our broadcast position. Man-to-man defense here by the Lacrosse women as they work it out to Kelsey Kleiner for three. Drops it in off the left wing. Casey Kleiner opens up the ball game with a triple. 3-0 Lady Red lead. The Lady Reds go man-to-man here to start their defensive set. They work the ball inside to Bishop at the free throw line. Now kicks it back out on the drive. Cut off on the baseline is Anderson. Now flips it inside, high off the glass. Anderson, no good. Rebound inside Miller. Her putback hit the bottom of the backboard right to Boardman. She'll clear it out to Thomas. Boardman with it, reversing to Quinn. Up top to Kleiner. She'll fire the three. That one's too strong. And rebound tipped through the hands of McKenzie, picked up by Selk. Selk now will take it all the way past Thomas. Will lay it up and in. Nice job by Kara Selk, the sophomore from Sheboygan South High School for Lacrosse as she took that one all the way. Thomas couldn't quite get in front to get herself set to cut her off at the basket. 3-2 Lady Reds. Now Quinn will flip it to Thomas. Thomas now penetrates below the free throw line. Floater with the right hand, won't fall. Battle for the loose ball. Mackenzie Miller comes away with it. She'll outlet quickly to Atchison. Atchison out of East Troy. Was fouled on the floor before the shot. They'll go on Quinn. Aaron Quinn picking up the foul on the reach that time on the floor as she prevented Atchison from driving the basket that time. First foul of the ball game. And Boardman with a block that time on the shot attempt by Anderson. Back the other way. Kleiner with it. Between the circles, drifts off to the left wing. Gets it back to Hahn, reversing to Quinn, right side. Up top to Thomas. Thomas still nursing that broken nose, playing with that face shield as she went up for the shot, had it blocked out of her hand. On the way to the basket, Lady Reds will retain possession underneath. Now, Thomas suffered that about 2-3 weeks ago, and still wearing the protective face mask. Still hinders her a little bit. Hahn on the drive off the inbound feed from Thomas. Counted in one more for Alexis Hahn. Nice assist that time for Thomas off the inbound pass. Hahn able to finish and a chance for a three-point play. And the free throw up and rattles off, no good. Jenna Anderson with the rebound for UW La Crosse. Eagles in the second of back-to-back games here today. They won last night down in Chicago over North Park. A last-second layup by Rachel Atchison to win the ball game on the North Park floor. Eagles now with it. We got a whistle and a foul. Atchison that time on the penetration. Got fouled by Casey Kleiner with a reach. First on Kleiner, second on the team. Fresh 30 as they'll inbound to the left of the basket. Atchison out of East Troy, driving, ran into Boardman, lost the basketball. Boardman with a steal. Boardman able to hold her own that time on the left baseline to prevent Atchison from penetrating. Now Thomas for the Lady Reds, working the dribble, gives it off to Quinn on the right wing. Quinn dribbles through the top of the key into the paint and was fouled. Another reach foul that time. First personal foul on the Wisconsin La Crosse Eagles. And it will go on Kara Selk with the reach in that time on the dribble penetration. Lady Reds will inbound in the offensive end. Now three ball by Boardman, top of the circle. No, Hahn with the rebound and the offensive stick back goes down for Alexis Hahn. Creditor with the board and a bucket that time for Hahn. The lead out to 5, 7-2. Just about 3 minutes into our contest here this afternoon. First of two here today. The men will take on the La Crosse Eagles in our second game here on 1050 WLIP at 4 o'clock. And a foul off the entry pass. Boardman picking up the foul. That is her first. 3 team fouls. So a lot of whistles here early. A lot of them on the reach and the little hand check reach fouls early on. La Crosse will inbound underneath their own basket. On the drive, Anderson lost control of it through the legs of Selk, out of bounds to the Lady Reds. Dribbled off the foot that time of Jenna Anderson, and Selk couldn't contain it before it squirted out in front of the Lady Reds bench. Carthage will put it in play in the backcourt. 7-2 Lady Reds lead. They'll bring it down as Thomas will set it up to Boardman, reversing left side to Hahn, over to Quinn, high on the left elbow. Now underneath the Boardman, caught it underneath the basket, a little too deep that time, fired up the shot, no good. Selk able to clear the rebound for La Crosse. Good idea that time. Boardman was open, and unfortunately she got herself too deep underneath. And now Boardman with a second steal as she was able to strip the basketball on the drive. Penetration that time by Miller. Thomas will set it up once again. They get it off to Quinn on the left elbow. Now driving, circling through the top of the paint, flipped it up and drew the foul as Quinn hit the deck, and Erin Quinn will go to the free throw line to shoot a pair. Mackenzie Miller with the foul. That's 2 quick ones on Mackenzie Miller, the 6'1 center for La Crosse. And this will put Erin Quinn on the free throw line, and Quinn able to drop in the first of 2. As Allison Riley will check in for the Lady Reds. Riley, the 5'9 senior out of Cudahy. And Gabby Clary, a freshman out of Cambridge, Wisconsin, a 6'1 center, will replace Mackenzie Miller, who exits with 2 personal fouls. Quinn makes both free throws. 9-2, Lady Reds up by 7, their largest lead. Eagles will set it up, and now a foul away from the play. This will go on Alexis Hahn, her first on a holding call. So Hahn picking up the foul. That's the 4th team foul on the Lady Reds. They get it inbounds quickly and able to finish Maggie Bishop. Bishop, the junior out of Westby. Her first 2 this afternoon, shaves it down to 5. 9-4 Lady Reds. Kleiner to Thomas. Now to Riley. Penetrates, floats in the paint. No, got her own rebound. It's loose at the free throw line. Now picked up by Quinn. Cross-court feed to Kleiner, back out to Thomas. She'll drive, dishes it back to Riley. Now penetrates to Quinn. Quinn will put it up. Off the back iron, no good. And the rebound pulled in by Bishop. A couple of good looks there. Passed up a couple of times. One by Riley, the other by Thomas before Quinn finally got the shot away. Now good defense here by Riley, forcing the turnover as she was able to strip the basketball. And a good defensive job by Allison Riley. Quinn comes down to Thomas. Goes glass, left side, lays it up and in. Thomas with her first bucket this afternoon on the nice finish. But going back to that last defensive set, nice play by Allison Riley. Go chest to chest with the lacrosse player. Force that strip. Now Hahn pokes it away. Out of bounds. Eagles will keep possession. Boardman will check back in for the Lady Reds. Also coming in, our first look at the freshman Morgan Harris. Harris, a 5'5" freshman out of Hersey High School in Chicago. Lacrosse will make a substitution as well.
Eagle substitution number 3, Ditchai.
Elise Ditchai will come in now, a freshman out of Tosa West. 5 minutes in, 11-4 Lady Reds. Lacrosse will inbound, 14 on the shot clock, and we got a whistle again away from the play. Contact being called away from the basketball here. Riley picking up the foul, trying to fight through the stack on the screen. So a fresh 30 here for Lacrosse as they'll inbound in the offensive end, and now we got an offensive foul, moving screen. It's going to go on 45, Gabby Clary sliding in to Allison Riley that time to try and cut her off as she was trying to jump out and pick up the point. Lady Reds by 7 here. Game chopped up here by fouls here. Each team now, 9 fouls total called here in the first 5 minutes of the contest. Boardman now, inside spin move with the left hand, lays it in. Taylor Boardman with a nice entry that time. A little shoulder fake and the spin with the left hand, able to finger roll it in. 13-4, Lady Reds up by 9, their largest lead. Now they force it inside to Clary. She saved it from going out, tipped by Riley, and it will go out of bounds at midcourt. No possession gained here, so 11 seconds remain on the shot clock here with Lacrosse will inbound in the backcourt. Casey Kleiner will check in, replacing Aaron Quinn for Carthage. Again, the Eagles to inbound in the backcourt. They have 10 to shoot. With the basketball, Ditchite tried to get it to Riley and travel with the basketball. She tried to get past Riley that time. Riley with the tie-up. A couple of good defensive plays for the senior from Cudahy, Allison Riley. 13-4, Lady Reds. Token pressure here. Carthage able to get it across. Thomas gets it back over to Morgan Harris. Harris to Thomas, back to Harris. Now to Thomas in the right corner. Gets it back to Harris. She's double teamed. Back to Thomas. She'll launch the three. Rattles in and out, no good. Riley with the rebound. Will dribble it back out for the Lady Reds. Now Boardman picks it up. Back to Thomas again for three. That one's off the back iron. And a loose ball inside, picked up by Bishop for the Eagles. 13-4, Lady Reds lead here. 13 and a half minutes to go in the first half. Now they force it inside, looking for Ditchite. It goes out of bounds off Taylor Boardman. The Eagles will keep possession here underneath. Alexis Hahn will check back in for Allison Riley. Good effort by Riley off the bench. Good defensive effort. Getting a couple of tie-ups, turnover, and steal. Jenna Anderson also will check in now for the Eagles. Again, just the second meeting between these two schools. And we got a moving screen, or no, the pass deflected out of bounds off the inbounds. The inbounding player caught the basketball while still out of bounds. So turnover back to the Lady Reds. It's 7 turnovers for UW La Crosse. Lady Reds without a turnover thus far. Morgan Harris for three off the right wing. That's too strong. Hahn able to get the rebound. Goes right back up low right and rolls around and falls in. And a timeout taken by La Crosse. 15-4 Lady Reds. An 8-0 run here for Carthage as they open up an 11-point lead, and it'll be a 30-second timeout taken by the Eagles. Yes, it's just the second meeting between these two schools. The last meeting occurred back in March of 1973. Carthage played Wisconsin La Crosse in a game up at Eau Claire, and the Lady Reds lost that ball game 77-36. So few and far between these two schools. Lady Reds on the road Tuesday night. They'll be in Dubuque to take on Loras College. The Dewhawks from the Athletic Wellness Center will have the broadcast for you here on 1050 WLIP beginning at 5:45 Tuesday night. Eagles bring it in. 12:50 to go, first half, trailing 15-4. They get the penetration inside. Bishop and was fouled.
Carthage foul, number 3, Hall. Her second personal
Alexis
foul.
Hahn that time,
6-team foul.
getting a hand across the side of the head of Bishop as she was driving to the basket. So Bishop will go to the line and will make the first of two free throws.
Indian Carthage lineup, number 12,
Bishop
Aaron
averaging
Quinn. And number
about 9
21,
points
Ashley Cunningham.
per game.
Into the Eagles lineup is number 23, Simmons.
Simmons will check in now. Michaela Simmons, freshman out of Elma Center, Wisconsin, for the Eagles. In for the Lady Reds, Ashley Cunningham, the junior from Lindenhurst. Missed the second free throw. Lady Reds maintain a 10-point lead here with 12:35 to go first half. Harris on the drive, counted and one. Morgan Harris, a freshman from Hersey with the drive to the basket, able to draw the foul and will get an extra shot from the line.
First personal foul. 15 foul. Into the Eagles lineup is number 33, Connolly.
Foul will go on Maggie Bishop. That is her first, the fifth on the Eagles, and Morgan Harris with the and one converts. 18-5, Lady Reds lead here. 12.5 minutes to play first half. Now, Quinn with a kicking violation on the entry pass by Anderson. The Eagles will reload here, off to the side. Free throw line extended near side in the offensive end. They try and force it inside, broken up by Harris and taken away by Casey Kleiner. Back to Harris. Standstill three from the right wing. That one's up and off, no good. The rebound pulled in by Sierra Watrud. Check that, Michaela Simmons with that rebound. 23, not 13, John. Get it right. Now they work it off. Back to Michaela Simmons. She'll penetrate. Couldn't get it to fall. Ball squirts out to the far side. Taken out of bounds. And it went out before Casey Kleiner touched it. It'll be Carthage basketball. Hit the line before Kleiner got there, says the official. Carthage will make a substitution here as Thomas will come in for Harris. Good job by Morgan Harris. Getting some minutes here, the 5'5" freshman from Arlington Heights. Thomas will bring it across, her team up 13. Cunningham gives it off to Kleiner. Kleiner working the dribble on the left wing. To Quinn. Back over to Thomas high on the right. Thomas guarded hard by Anderson. Now tried to force it inside or outside to Kleiner. It was broken up by Atchison. Carthage will maintain possession. 9 on the shot clock. Carthage forcing 8 Eagle turnovers here early. Lady Reds yet to turn it over. That's a good sign. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Boardman fires up a wild shot, missing. Cunningham's tap in no good, and the rebound pulled out by Simmons for the Eagles. She'll clear it down. 3 ball by Atchison is short off the left wing. Boardman able to get the rebound. She'll give it up to Quinn. Quinn down across midcourt. Setting it up on the right wing. Now Quinn penetrates top of the key, and a reach foul as she dribbled through the paint that time off the top of the free throw circle. Simmons picking up the foul on the reach. Each team now with 6 team fouls. Riley in for Cunningham for the Lady Reds. 18-5, Lady Reds in front, just over 11 minutes to go here in this first half. Well, Kleiner lost it momentarily. Boardman picks it up. Carthage will reload here. Thomas now with it. To Riley, down low it goes. Boardman low right, had it partially blocked by Gabby Clary, and Clary comes away with it. Outlets to Anderson. Jenna Anderson top of the circle with the dribble. Works it off left wing to Atchison. Atchison cross-court feed back to Anderson. Anderson reverse layup left side, good. She got around Erin Quinn that time. I think Erin was looking for a little help on the block, and nothing came after she lost her on the right block. Anderson with the reverse lay-in. First 2 tonight for Jenna Anderson. Boardman now, back out to Thomas, open 3, look, that one's down. Aaron Thomas, all alone 3 off the right wing. Able to jack the triple, 21-7. Lady Reds up by 14. Now Atchison lost the dribble, taken away by Carthage. Thomas with the breakout. She'll lay it up left side and in. Timeout, Lacrosse. Another turnover, the 9th of the game so far for Lacrosse, and they'll take a 30-second timeout. 9:54 to go here in the half, and the Lady Reds have built a 23-7 lead. Carthage shooting 43%, 9 of 21. 2 of 8 from three-point range and 3 of 4 from the line. Lacrosse just 3 of 8, 37%. Misfiring on their only three-point attempt, but they've turned it over 9 times. Again, this is the second of back-to-back games for UW Lacrosse. Won a last-second thriller last night over North Park. (68-66). Couple of games going on this afternoon. Illinois Wesleyan women up at Stevens Point. UW Stevens Point with an early 6-2 lead. Elmhurst is taking on Wartburg. And the Blue Jays midway through the first half leading Wartburg 26-17. Crosse will work in the offensive end here. Atchison for 3. That one goes down. Not much more he could do there. Riley was in her face defensively, but Atchison still able to knock that down from the right wing. Carthage able to bring it across now. Riley, right corner to left corner to Kleiner. Back up to Quinn. Quinn to Thomas. Inside feed it goes Riley. Riley with the floater. Missed, got her own rebound. Sticks it back up and in. A little hard on the first attempt. It hit the backboard, then off the front of the rim. Went right back to Riley. She got it, reloaded, and was able to finish. Riley with 2 points. 25-10 Lady Reds. And another turnover by Lacrosse as the pass goes awry in the left corner through the fingertips of Maggie Bishop. That's 10 turns now for the Eagles. Under 9 minutes to play here in the first half. A 15-point Lady Red lead. Kleiner all alone 3. That one off the back iron, no good. Boardman with the rebound. Gives it back up to Quinn. Around to Thomas. Thomas now. Bounce feed to Quinn, right corner. She'll take the dribble out. Back to Thomas. Thomas now through the paint. Floater. And it rolls off, no good. Riley, though, able to get the rebound for Carthage. 3 possessions here. As again, the miss by Kleiner, and it's picked up by Kleiner, but she double dribbled. She got her own loose ball that time off the miss, and then wasn't sure if she should try and fire it back up or dish it off to Riley, and commits the turnover. The first turnover of the game by the Lady Reds. Alexis Hahn back in now for the Lady Reds, replacing Boardman. Michaela Simmons will come out, and Kara Selk back in for the Eagles. 8:25 remaining, 25-10, Lady Reds in front. Atchison with it. Works it off to Selk. Now to Bishop at the free throw line. Back out to Atchison. Bounce feed into the corner it goes. Anderson on the drive. Puts it up. No. Rebound cleared out by Kleiner. Casey Kleiner will bring it across. Bounce feed to Thomas, streaking in left wing, and the contact and a foul as Bishop stepped out Tried to deny the penetration by Thomas, knocked her to the court. Thomas will go to the free throw line. Aaron Thomas, the transfer from Loyola Chicago out of Richmond Burton High School. At the free throw line, drops in the first of two. Mackenzie Miller will check back in for La Crosse. She has 2 personal fouls. Riley will come out. Ashley Cunningham in for the Lady Reds. One more free throw on the way by Thomas, and she's able to connect. Aaron Thomas with 9 first half points. 27-10. Lady Reds build a 17-point lead, their largest of the ball game, as they get the entry pass low right to Miller, and she's able to finish with the layup. 27-12. Lady Reds in front. Quinn now works it off to Thomas. Thomas, entry pass to Cunningham. Cunningham cut off at the baseline. On the left, or the right side, I should say. Back out to Kleiner. Inside back to Cunningham, and we got a moving screen on the Lady Reds. Conversation going on between the official here and the head coach Lois Heron for La Crosse. Not sure what that was all about, but it'll be Eagle basketball here. 7:15 to play. And a 3-point up and rattles around and down for Jenna Anderson. So a 5-0 run here by the Eagles. They've cut it to 12 here, 27-15. Thomas now getting the double team. We got a reach and a foul. Well, they've been calling that reach all game long here. Atchison with the foul. That is her first. 8th team foul here, so this will be 1-1. Thomas back at the line for the bonus. Missing her first miss at the line. Rebound by La Crosse. Anderson will bring it down. Selk with it through the top of the circle. Gives it back to Anderson high on the right wing. Anderson now behind the back dribble, nearly lost it, got it back, flips it high off the glass, no good. Alexis Hahn with the rebound for the Lady Reds. She'll clear it out to Quinn. Quinn will settle it down in midcourt. Quinn through the top of the circle, now penetrates in the paint, dumps it off low right to Hahn. Missed, got her own rebound, goes back up, blocked by Miller. And La Crosse able to clear it back the other way. Anderson with it. They look inside, they feed Bishop. Bishop turnaround shot no good. Again, Hahn with the rebound. Lady Reds out rebounding the Crosse now, 17-11. 27-15, Carthage in front, under 6 minutes to go in our first half. First of 2 this afternoon. We got a moving screen violation on the Lady Reds once again. It's going to go on Ashley Cunningham. Sliding through, making contact with the defender. She will exit here as Taylor Boardman will check back in for Carthage. Also Morgan Harrison now for the Lady Reds once again. 27-15 Carthage, 5:45 to go here in our first half. Selk with it, top of the circle. Had it partially blocked by Quinn, pulled away by Boardman. Another turnover here by the Eagles, their 11th of this first half. Now Kleiner, and to work off the Boardman screen, finds Morgan. Morgan Harris gets it off to Quinn. Quinn, the 20-footer from the right side, that's no good. Rebound pulled in by Maggie Bishop. Carthage cooling off now, 10 of 29 from the floor thus far. What's kept them in here has been the turnovers and the rebounding. Now the penetration by Selk and an offensive foul as she dished. She slid into Hahn, who had her feet firmly planted in the paint, took the charge that time. Selk picks up her second. She will exit as Ditchite will come back in, the freshman from Wauwatosa. 27-15 Lady Reds. Just over 5 minutes to go here in our first half. Riley brings it to Boardman now. Morgan Harris back to Riley, reversing left side to Casey Kleiner. Now they work it around the perimeter to Hahn, down low, off of Boardman, off her foot and out of bounds. Tough pass there by Hahn. Tried to bounce feed it through the paint. Those usually don't work out, and that time it bounced right off the foot of Boardman. So the Eagles will bring it down. We've been stuck at 27-15 here for a while. In about 4 minutes here since teams have scored a basket. Riley with the dribble here for Carthage. Tied up, just beat the 5-second count, and Carthage will take the timeout. Carthage will take a 30-second timeout. Take a look at some other games as we mentioned. Stevens Point hosting Illinois Wesleyan, just under 7 minutes remaining first half. And Stevens Point leading the Illinois Wesleyan women 22-14. Elmhurst leading Wartburg. Wartburg coming back now, making it a 3-point game, 29-26 with 5 minutes to go first half down at Elmhurst. A couple other games this afternoon. All 7 of the 8 teams in the CCIW and women's play in action. Later on tonight, it'll be Greenville at Milliken, Augustana hosting Blackburn, North Central taking on Millsaps, and Wheaton hosting Claremont Mudd Scripps in women's play today in the CCIW. Carthage reloading here, shot clock down to 7. Riley with it high in the left wing, gets it to Kleiner. Kleiner off to Harris. Morgan Harris, as the shot clock went to 0, fired up the 3, and it came up short. Barely drew iron, and the rebound pulled in by Maggie Bishop. Eagles will bring it down. Lady Reds gone scoreless here for the last 4.5 minutes. I think that last 5.5 minutes here for the Lady Reds. Meanwhile, La Crosse in a 4-minute drought themselves, and they throw it away again inside, taken away by Taylor Boardman. That's 13 turnovers by the Eagles here in this first half. Morgan Harris will take it. Gives it off to Hahn. Inside to Hahn again on the give and go. Alexis Hahn able to finish low left. First basket in nearly 6 minutes for either squad here. 29-15. 3:10 to go here in our first half. Lady Reds have been in control since the opening tap. Now Mackenzie Miller with it. Try to throw it back. It's loose up top. Taken right back though by Watrud. Gives it off to Atchison. Atchison with 2 on the shot clock. Gets it back. A desperation 3 by Ditchite. No good. The rebound to Morgan Harris. Harris will bring it across. Harris now to Riley. Riley over the top feed to Boardman down low. Spinning around Miller and draws the foul as Boardman hit the deck. Mackenzie Miller, I believe, will be called for the foul. No, it's going to go on Bishop. That's 3, though, on Maggie Bishop, with Taylor Boardman at the line shooting 2. First trip to the line today for Taylor Boardman, where she is 1 for 5 from the floor, 0 for 1 now at the stripe. Sam Connolly in for the first time this afternoon for the Eagles. Connolly, a freshman from Burnsville, Minnesota. Jenna Anderson back in. Gabby Clary in as well for the Eagles as Boardman makes the second of her 2 tosses. 1 for 2 that trip. Aaron Thomas checks in for the Lady Reds. 30-15. Lady Reds doubling up on the Eagles here late first half. 3-ball air ball that time by Anderson, and the rebound plucked out of there by Boardman. 2:10 to play. Lady Reds up 30-15. Quinn gets it back to Thomas now, working the top of the circle with the dribble. Thomas penetrates, skip past to Quinn, got it too deep. She was behind the basket when she got that one, tried to fire it up, hit the side of the backboard. Eagles will clear it down. Atchison with it. Cross-court feed to Anderson, left corner. Inside it goes. Turnaround Shot that time by Connolly, no good. And the rebound by the Lady Reds. Morgan Harris will control. Minute 35 remaining here in our first half. It's been all Lady Reds. Thomas gets it back to Quinn, reversing right side to Morgan Harris. Harris on the drive. We got a whistle and a foul. Got a holding call on Watrud, Sierra Watrud, the freshman from New Glarus. That'll put Harris on the line. Double bonus, 10th team foul. So Harris on the line shooting 2 free throws. That one off the back iron, no good. Lady Reds struggling a bit here early at the line, just 6 of 10 from the stripe. Second one, that one's no good. Rebound to Connolly for the Eagles. 30-15. Crosse missing on the layup by Atchison, but the stick back goes down for Gabby Clary. I was just going to say, that is their first basket in over 6 minutes. Their last field goal at 7:17. That one coming with minute 9 remaining. They went over 6 minutes without a field goal here as Quinn on the drive, had it stripped out, went off her hip out of bounds. Tough break for Erin Quinn. As she had it stripped and then she tried to gather it back in, went off her left hip out of bounds. Goes a turnover, the 4th by the Lady Reds here in the half. Much better job protecting the basketball here this afternoon. 30-17 Carthage, 45 seconds to play first half. 3 up by Atchison, that's no good. Followed it to the basket and drew the foul. Said she was going back up for the shot. Oh, I'm not so sure about that. Thomas picking up the foul. The official who made the call there said she was in the act of shooting, so that'll put Atchison at the stripe for a pair. Atchison able to hit the front end. Kleiner back in for the Lady Reds. One more here for Atchison. Coming into this weekend, averaging just under 10 points per game, missing the second free throw. Boardman clears the rebound. 33 seconds to go here in the half. Carthage will bring it down. A 6-second difference, game clock to shot clock, so the Lady Reds will have to put one up here before the end of the half. Harris gets it off to Riley, and we got a whistle away from the play. 3-second violation on Boardman for the Lady Reds. Eagles will get the final look here with the shot clock dark, 17 seconds to play. Haven't been able to get on track, has La Crosse here. They went on a 6-minute scoring drought, and then we got a double dribble here on the Eagles as falling to the floor was Jenna Anderson. She tried to keep the dribble going, but stopped it, then restarted it. Turning it over. That's been the story for La Crosse here in this first half. 13 turnovers. Final 5 seconds of this first half. Harris brings it across. Finds Quinn streaking in left side at the buzzer, lays it in. Carthage gets the layup from Quinn as time expires here in the first half. And the Lady Reds will take a 14-point lead into the locker room. Carthage 32, UW La Crosse 18. We'll pause, take a 2-minute break. You're listening to Lady Reds basketball on Kenosha's radio station, AM 1050, WLIP Kenosha. John Weiser back with you at the Tarble Arena in Kenosha. Halftime here of the Lady Reds home opener as they lead UW La Crosse by a score of 32-18. Lady Reds led wire to wire here in the first 20 minutes. They opened up a 9-2 lead after a pair of free throws by Erin Quinn. And then they built up their first double-digit lead of the ball game, 15-4, on a layup by Alexis Hahn, 7 minutes into the contest. Lady Reds then built out a 16-point lead after an Aaron Thomas layup that made it 23-7. And Lady Reds defensively here in this first half, holding the La Crosse Eagles without a field goal for about a 6.5-minute span midway through this first half. The other storyline, Lady Reds protecting the basketball, turning it over just 4 times here in the first half while forcing 13 turns by the Eagles here in the first half. As we take a look at the scoring numbers of this first half, neither team shooting the ball impressively well, as Carthage shot 36% in that first half, 12 of 33, 2 for 10 on the three-point arc, and 6 of 11 from the stripe. Lady Reds were led in scoring in that first half by Erin Thomas. Thomas, the transfer from Loyola University Chicago, was 3 for 7 from the field, including a three-pointer, 2 for 3 from the line for her 9 points, but a very balanced scorebook here in the first half for the Lady Reds. 9 for Erin Thomas, 8 for Alexis Hahn. Hahn 4 of 7 from the floor. 4 points for Erin Quinn. Quinn getting the layup as time expired here in this first half. 3 points each for Casey Kleiner, Morgan Harris, and Taylor Boardman. 2 points for Allison Riley. Ashley Cunningham played but did not score for the Lady Reds. Again, the Lady Reds 36% shooting on 12 of 33 from the field. Meanwhile, La Crosse 31% shooting, 7 of 22. They too cold from the arc, 2 of 8 from beyond three-point range, and 2 of 4 from the free throw line. Jenna Anderson, the leading scorer, at 5 points in the first half. She was held 2 of 6 shooting, including a three-pointer. Rachel Atchison, the star of last night's game against North Park, she had 25 second-half points en route to a 29-point performance. Just 1 for 7 from the floor here in this first half. That a three-pointer late here in this first half for her only field goal. She finished the half with just 4 points. 3 for Maggie Bishop, 2 points each for Kara Selk, Mackenzie Miller, and Gabby Clary. Miller and Bishop in foul trouble here. Bishop picking up her 3rd personal, and Mackenzie Miller picked up 2 quick fouls early and sat much of this half, played just 10 minutes of this first half. Again, 31% shooting for La Crosse in that first half. Lady Reds, a balanced rebounding book, as Lady Reds out-rebound the Eagles 23-18 in the first half, including 9 on the offensive glass. The Eagles with just 3 offensive rebounds in that first half. Leading rebounder for the Lady Reds was Taylor Boardman with 6, 5 of them on the defensive carom. Allison Riley credited with 4 offensive boards for the Lady Reds in that first half. Meanwhile, leading rebounder for the Eagles, Maggie Bishop with 4, all of them on the defensive glass in that first half. Again, the storyline for the Eagles, they committed 13 turnovers in that first half and only 4 assists in that first half. Meanwhile, Lady Reds with 8 assists and 6 turnovers charged to the Lady Reds in that first half. And Carthage, led by as many as 17, will take a 14-point lead into the second half at 32-18. Don't forget, we've got men's basketball for you later on this afternoon, a 4 o'clock tip. So if you're out and about, got a chance to come on in here to the Tarble Arena, check out Redmond basketball this afternoon, as the Redmond will take on the UW La Crosse men. That game's scheduled to tip at 4 o'clock here at the Tarble Arena, and we will have that broadcast immediately following our women's game here this afternoon. Let's check scores from around the CCIW in women's basketball this afternoon. About to go halftime in Stevens Point, and the Pointers owning an 8-point lead over the Illinois Wesleyan women, as it's UW Stevens Point 32, Illinois Wesleyan 24 in that game up at Stevens Point. Caitlin Jacobs leading the Pointers with 5 points in that first half. Meanwhile, it's Gabby Holness leading all scorers with 15 points for Illinois Wesleyan. Again, that game going to halftime with the Pointers up by 9, 33-24. Another game going on this afternoon down at Elmhurst, and the Blue Jays have fallen behind Wartburg in a battle of undefeateds. The Knights lead the Blue Jays by a score of 39-35. Elmhurst had a 29-16 advantage at one point in that ball game, but got outscored 23-6 in the final 10 minutes of that second half for the Wartburg Knights. They lead it at the half, 39-35. Bobby Burrows with 5 points to lead the way for Wartburg. Meanwhile, Fiona McMahon with 9 points for the Blue Jays in that contest. Kaylee Cladvio for Wartburg with 8, and Melanie Schwertman also with 7 for the Blue Jays in that one. Later on this afternoon, the Wheaton Thunder will take on Claremont Mudd Scripps. That game scheduled to tip at 3 o'clock. And then later tonight, Milliken hosts Greenville, and Augustana will take on Blackburn, and North Central will take on Millsaps in CCIW women's play. Got some football going on this afternoon. NCAA Division III football playoffs, the 32-team field. Everyone in action this afternoon, and we've got some finals for you. Mount Union destroyed Adrian today, 63-3. Kevin Burke threw for 286 yards for the Purple Raiders. Meanwhile, for the Bulldogs, it was Adrian Harris with 38 rushing yards to pace the Adrian attack. Again, Mount Union, the Purple Raiders, advancing into the second round. It was Wabash defeating Franklin College this afternoon, 33-14. Hobart defeated Ithaca, 22-15. It was Washington and Jefferson defeating Wittenberg, 41-25. So Wittenberg, the champions of the North Coast Athletic Conference, bounced in the first round by Washington and Jefferson. Wheaton defeated Benedictine today by a final of 43-14. And UW Whitewater blasting McAllister 55-2. So the purple regime of Whitewater and Mount Union blowing out their first round opponents. A lot written about McAllister. There was a story in yesterday's Milwaukee paper about the McAllister program and the trials and tribulations of that program, and they weren't able to do much today against UW Whitewater and bounced in the first round of that contest. Games going on still. It's Linfield shutting out Chapman 28-0. No surprise there. That game in the second quarter. Down in Texas, Texas Lutheran and Mary Hardin Baylor, that game in a lightning delay early in the second quarter, and still showing a delay there. It's 14-10. Mary Hardin Baylor on top of Texas Lutheran in that one. And also a game going on down in Iowa. It's Wartburg and St. Thomas late fourth quarter. Wartburg clinging to a 6-point lead. The Knights lead St. Thomas 37-31. That's in NCAA Division III football playoffs that got underway this afternoon. Again, Wheaton a winner, advancing into the second round, as did UW Whitewater and Mount Union today. Here at halftime, Lady Reds basketball. Carthage Lady Reds leading UW La Crosse 32-18. We'll pause, take a 2-minute break, back with second half play right after this on AM 1050 WLIP. Both teams back up and ready to go here for our second half. Lady Reds basketball this afternoon on 1050 WLIP. John Weiser reporting from the Tarble Arena. Glad you're along this afternoon on a dank and dreary November day. Well, at least it's not snowing, and at least it's not in single digits. Well, freezing rain this morning, kind of a ice rink, if you will, early, very early this morning. But temperatures in the mid-40s right now, and just wet pavement and foggy conditions, and what you would kind of expect here in mid to late November here in the upper Midwest. La Crosse will get the basketball to start our second half. Hahn, Boardman, Thomas, Quinn, and Kleiner for the Lady Reds. Anderson, Bishop, Atchison, Selk, and Miller for the UW La Crosse Eagles. Again, back-to-back ball games for La Crosse. They were in Chicago last night. They played North Park, won that game on a last-second buzzer beater by Atchison, a layup, as time expired in that contest, and then hiked it back up to Kenosha. Stayed over in here in Kenosha last night, and so we'll see if they've got something in the gas tank here in this second half. They turned it over 13 times in that first half and went through a 6.5, almost 7-minute scoring drought. They try and work it inside to Miller. She lost control of it, poked out, taken away by Casey Kleiner. Lady Reds will bring it back the other way. Good hands, active hands in there by Boardman that time to deny Miller that entry pass. Carthage will set it up offensively. Aaron Thomas looking inside. Gets it off to Kleiner. Kleiner dribbles through the paint, circles around through the right corner. Reversing around left side now to Quinn. Quinn back to Boardman. 6 on the shot clock. Now they fire it down low. Hahn going low right, off the glass and in. Hahn working on the defender that time, Maggie Bishop. Bishop had to let her go with those 3 fouls. Wild 3 thrown up by Atchison. Ball tipped back into the back court, picked up by Atchison as it was tipped off a Lady Red player. Anderson now with it. She'll fire it up quickly. That one is short. Rebound Kleiner. They have their shooting legs from long distance here this afternoon. Quinn now and a nice feed from Kleiner, lays it up and in. Back-to-back buckets to start the second half for the Lady Reds, and they open up their largest lead of the game now at 18. 36-18 Carthage, minute and a half into our second half. Miller with it, reversing and fires it through the hands of Bishop, out of bounds. Yet another turn by La Crosse. 14 turnovers committed by the Eagles here so far. 22 minutes of play. Thomas will take it across midcourt. Good bounce back game here for the Lady Reds if they can hang on. This is much what we expected out of the Lady Reds here. As Thomas on the penetration fell down, lost the basketball, but it deflected off an Eagle player. I think that went off a Bishop out of bounds, and so Carthage will retain possession. Quinn now through the top of the circle on the dribble, finds Thomas. 6 seconds on the shot clock. On a three-pointer, top of the circle, not her shot, but trying to get that one up to beat the shot clock that time. Back the other way comes Anderson. Off to Bishop, tried to force it into Mackenzie Miller, kicked out of bounds by Alexis Hahn. 36-18, Lady Reds lead it. La Crosse will inbound in the offensive end here. Atchison will get it in to Miller, hands it back to Atchison, now driving out of the right corner. Atchison going strong, and it falls off, but drew the foul. She will go to the line to shoot 2. Alexis Hahn picking up the foul. That is her third. So she is the first Lady Red in foul trouble today, picking up her third. Atchison at the line. That honeycomb's out, no good. Atchison 29 points last night in the win over North Park. Has struggled with her shot here today, missing both free throws. Atchison just 1 for 4 at the stripe and 1 for 7 from the floor. 36-18 Carthage. 17:35 to play. Kleiner now. She's been quiet today. Held to just 3 points in that first half. Quinn now tracks down the loose ball here on the right wing. Getting the shot clock down to 5. Quinn lost control of it as she turns it over, penetrating the lane. Back the other way comes Selk. Gives it off to Anderson, and Kleiner knocked down, called for the block though. That's 2 now on Casey Kleiner. Second team foul on the Lady Reds here in this second half. The inbound goes up top to Bishop. Back inside, Mackenzie Miller working on Boardman. Boardman got a hand on the basketball and stripped it away. Outlets to Quinn now. Quinn, lead pass to Hahn, going down low right, lays it up and in. Alexis Hahn on the finish, Quinn on the assist. That's the 5th assist of the game for Aaron Quinn. And it's a 20-point bulge now for the Lady Reds. Miller, offensive foul. Saw that one coming as she got that pass. She wanted to take it to the rim. Hahn quickly to the left block, able to cut her off and get the feet planted to take the charge. Miller picking up the foul, her third. She will join Bishop with 3 personal fouls, and Gabby Clary will check in now, replacing Mackenzie Miller. 38-18 Lady Reds. And the Reds will be in action Tuesday night on the road in Dubuque against Loris, and then back home Sunday afternoon, next Sunday afternoon against University of Chicago. Kleiner for 3, that hits back iron. Rebound Boardman, back out to Thomas. Loops it back to Boardman, now reversing right side to Quinn. Drives the lane, throws it up with the left hand and hits Aaron Quinn. Off the feed from Thomas, able to lay it up and in. Quinn with 8. Back the other way on the penetration. Anderson missing the shot. Rebound tipped out. Thomas comes away with it for the Lady Reds. Thomas now working on Atchison. Clears it back out to Quinn. Up top to Boardman. Right side Kleiner. Back inside to Hahn. Now to Thomas. Over the top feed. Back low to Hahn. Able to finish low right. Layup and a timeout taken by La Crosse. 42-18. Lady Reds. They have held La Crosse scoreless here for the first 5 minutes of the second half, en route to a 10-0 run and a 42-18 lead. As I mentioned, Lady Reds will be in Dubuque Tuesday night. We will have the broadcast here on 1050 WLIP beginning at 5:45 with our pregame and a 6 o'clock tip from the Athletic Center on the campus of Loris College. The Dewhawks. Been out there a couple of times. Nice facility. As I mentioned, the Lady Reds will take in a break for the Thanksgiving holiday and then return home here on Sunday night, a week from tomorrow, or Sunday afternoon, I should say, a week from tomorrow against University of Chicago. Meanwhile, the Redmen will play here this afternoon, a 4 o'clock tip right after Lady Reds basketball. So, opportunity for you to come on out and support the Carthage Redmen here this afternoon. And the Redmen hit the road for 3 straight as they will go to Platteville on Tuesday and then head out to San Francisco for a Thanksgiving tournament against Washington University of St. Louis and University of California Santa Cruz. That'll be taking place on Friday and Saturday of this upcoming Thanksgiving weekend. Eagles will bring it up full length. They trail 42-18. With it now Simmons. And she got into the paint and drew the foul on Kleiner. If it's on Kleiner, her third. Got the body that time on the penetration by Simmons. And so Kleiner picks up her third. So the Eagles will inbound underneath the basket. Get it up top in the hands of Watrud. Watrud kicks it around to Ditchite for 3. Here in the near side, Connolly is no good. Rebound, outlets to Carthage. Quinn will track it down. Circles back, gives it to Boardman trailing the play. Thought about the 3, reloads to Quinn. 42-18 Lady Reds. 5 minutes into our second half. Thomas all alone, standstill 3. That barely drew iron. You know, she's better long-range shooter, but you got to wonder how much that mask that she wears to protect that broken nose is affecting her shooting touch. That's what she's been counted on to do, is knock down those triples, and she has struggled early this season with that. Lady Reds on a 10-0 run to open up the second half. Entry pass down low to Miller. We got a whistle and a foul. Boardman trying to deny that pass to Miller. Made contact with her, picks up her second. 4th team foul on the Lady Reds. Hahn will check out as Allison Riley will come in now for the Lady Reds. And the Eagles will inbound underneath their offensive basket. With it now is Conley. Shot taken and missed. Long rebound pulled in that time by Ditchay. Work it back to Conley. Inside and get 2 shots here as the shot came up short, whistle and the foul. Foul's going to go on Boardman. That picks up her 3rd. So Boardman and Hahn each with 3. That's the 5th foul on the Lady Reds. Only 1 committed by La Crosse here in this second half. And Mackenzie Miller at the line shooting 2. And that stops the 5.5-minute scoreless streak. So you add that 6.5-minute scoreless streak in the first half, and they go 5.5 minutes without a point to start this second half. Free throw is short, ball tipped. Morgan Harris comes away with it for the Lady Reds. 42-19, Lady Reds lead it. Morgan Harris on the dribble. Zone defense here employed by the Eagles now, a 2-3 zone. They work it into Hahn, who's back in for Boardman. Laid it short, got her own rebound, goes back up and was fouled. And if it's on Miller, that's her 4th. Yep, Miller picks up the foul, her 4th.
Eagles foul number 55, Miller, her 4th personal foul.
Second team foul, and Alexis Hahn goes to the free throw line. Second trip tonight where she is 0 for 1. That one is up and in. Clary comes back in. Gabby Clary replacing Mackenzie Miller, who leaves with 4 fouls. Hahn 1 for 1 so far. Second free throw on the way is good. 2 for 2 that trip. Alexis Hahn with 16 points now for the Lady Reds. 44-19. A 12-1 run to open up the second half. Got a foul away from the ball once again here, committed by the Lady Reds. It's going to go on Erin Quinn. Her second, that's already the 6th foul on the Lady Reds. So the Eagles will inbound. I mean, much like the first half where we had 9 fouls between the two teams in the first 7 minutes, we've got 8 fouls called here between the two teams as Thomas nearly got the steal that time. And we got a held ball inside, possession arrow Lady Reds. So a held ball inside that time. And it was Riley coming up with the defensive play there. Try a diamond press here on the Lady Reds. Lady Reds throw it away. So it's loose in the court and picked up and taken away by the Eagles. Michaela Simmons fires one too strong off the glass. Rebound by Erin Quinn. Nice job of Quinn jumping in front of the shooter that time, Simmons, to get that rebound. 44-19 Lady Reds. 7 minutes into our second half. Hahn now spins around Gabby Clary and lays it up and in. Hahn low left that time. She has 18. Lead all scorers. 10 of those here in the second half. Now a steal by the Lady Reds. Thomas comes away with it. Bounce feed to Riley. Riley lost it. Ball loose on the floor. Picked right back up. We got a whistle and a foul. On Thomas. That's 2 on Thomas. 7th team foul on the Lady Reds. So 12:47 to go in the game. La Crosse will be at the free throw line. Shooting bonus. At the free throw line will be Sam Connolly, the 5'10 freshman from Burnsville, Minnesota. Connolly has appeared in all 5 ball games. Averaging 2 points a game, able to knock down both free throws. 46-21. Lady Reds break the press as Kleiner will set it up on the left wing. Morgan Harris, step back three out of the left corner. That one falls short. Rebound pulled in by Clary. Carthage just 2 for 14 on 3 balls here this afternoon. Something they've been good at last couple of years. Conley with the ball, denied on the right baseline. Finally gets an outlet pass and then broken up inside. Hahn trying to take it away from Clary. And Hahn commits the foul. That is her 4th. So 4 fouls on Hahn. She will exit with her 4th foul. Taylor Boardman will check back in. She has 3 fouls. Kleiner also with 3. At the free throw line will be Gabby Clary. Clary 2.7 points per game coming into the weekend. Finds the free throw. She'll have one more. As a team, they shoot about 70% from the stripe. Missed the second. Rebound pulled in by Ashley Cunningham. Gives it off to Morgan Harris. She will walk it down. 12:05 to play, and a nice feed from Harris to Boardman, who came up short. Looked like there might have been contact. No foul called there. Now with it, taking the shot that time was Michaela Simmons. And we got a foul on the rebound that time by Gabby Clary. Shoving her way through, trying to get to that loose ball, commits the foul. And they'll press the Lady Reds here, try and get back into this one. They're down 24, 46-22. Quinn tried to force it into Boardman. It was broken up by Clary, and back come the Eagles the other way. With it is Watrud on the dribble left side, up top to Ditchite. Now back into the hands of Simmons. Michaela Simmons, guarded by Morgan Harris, spins away from Harris, goes glass and lays it in. Got Harris to leave her feet, and then Simmons able to spin around, and we got a reach foul that time on Ditchite. She tried to take away that pass to Morgan Harris. First on Ditchite, 4th on the Eagles. And Carthage facing full court pressure here. Cunningham to Harris, back to Cunningham, across, now to Quinn. Harris will find Kleiner. Left wing up top, Cunningham for 3. That one rattles off, no good. Morgan Harris with the rebound on the right block. Gets it to Taylor Boardman. Boardman back up to Kleiner. Now to Quinn on the left wing. Gives it to Cunningham, return pass to Quinn, now to Harris in the right corner. Carthage trying to work the clock here a little bit. Quinn on the left wing. Had the shot blocked as she went up with it that time. Connolly with the block and the steal. Bounce feed the other way, and the layup is good by Sierra Watrud. 46-26 now. Eagles have cut it to 20. Harris to Quinn, to Kleiner in the left corner. Back to Quinn, reversing right side to Harris. Zone defense here. Now they break the zone as Boardman all alone underneath. Nice entry from Harris. The over-the-top feed to Boardman and the finish low right. 5 points for Boardman. 48-26, Lady Reds in control. Wild 3 shot that time. Takes a wicked bounce off the rim right in the hands of Quinn, who gives it off to Harris. She'll walk it down. Under 10 minutes to go here in the game. And the Redmen will play at 4, taking on the UW Lacrosse men's team. Boardman down low again on the entry from Kleiner, able to lay it in. Back-to-back layups from Taylor Boardman, and she has 7 points. 50-26, Lady Reds, 9.5 minutes to play. Now pass inside, intended for Clary, broken up by Boardman, but then the Eagles steal it right back. Layup no good by Clary, and then we got a contact and a collision, and Morgan Harris took a spill hard, and Clary also went down hard, both slow getting up. Harris back on her feet, and now Clary back under her own power.
Her second personal foul. 9th team foul.
Harris picks up the foul. Thomas will check in along with Allison Riley for the Lady Reds. Anderson and Atchison back in along with Maggie Bishop for the Eagles. Allison Riley also in now. And Gabby Clary at the free throw line. Clary 3 points today, missing on the free throw. 6 for 13 now are the Eagles from the stripe. 50-26, Lady Reds in control as we approach 9 minutes to play in the ball game. Riley around the left side to Quinn. Back to Thomas between the circles, takes the dribble right side, circles to Kleiner, reversing left to Quinn. Now up top, Boardman. Standstill three by Boardman, drops in. Taylor Boardman from the top of the circle for 3. She's in double figures now with 10. Just the third 3-ball tonight for the Lady Reds. And Quinn with the near steal that time on the pass to Anderson, broke it up out of bounds. Mackenzie Miller will check back in now for the Eagles. She has 4 fouls. She replaces Gabby Clary. As the Eagles will inbound in front of their own bench. Now on the drive, Atchison lost it on the way up, stolen away by Quinn. Atchison's had a rough ball game, 1 for 9 now. Just 4 points. Kleiner for 3, that's no good. The rebound to Maggie Bishop for the Eagles. Gets it down quickly to Atchison. Bounce feed to Bishop. Bishop spinning on Riley, and we got a foul. Going to go on Boardman with the help out. Boardman now commits her 4th foul. So Taylor Boardman with 4, Alexis Hahn with 4 fouls. 10th team foul already on the Lady Reds, so double bonus the rest of the way out here for La Crosse. And at the free throw line, Bishop drills the first. Maggie Bishop with 4 points tonight. Alexis Hahn will check in for Taylor Boardman. That free throw short, the rebound to Quinn. Actually went off of Quinn's fingertips to Hahn. Either way, the Lady Reds have control of it as they bring it down. As we approach 8 minutes to play. Kleiner for 3, that one's off. Long rebound picked up by Thomas on the right wing. She'll maintain control here for the Lady Reds. Riley with it. Gives it back to Quinn. To Thomas, to Hahn, 20-footer off the left wing. That rattled out no good. Thomas with the rebound. The stick back rolls around and in. Offensive board for Aaron Thomas and lays it up and in. Thomas with 11 tonight. 55-27 Carthage, 7.5 minutes to go. Inside feed it goes to Mackenzie Miller. Circled her way around Hahn. Hahn with those 4 fouls. Didn't want to muscle her up that time and bounce her off that block. Miller now with 5 points. 55-29, Lady Reds comfortably in front. Thomas nearly had it poked away by Atchison. Carthage taking time down here. 5 to shoot. Thomas circles out of the right corner. Up top to Quinn. Quinn for 3. Short. Rebound. Saved from going out that time by Bishop. She stepped in front of Hahn that time, going for that loose ball underneath and saved it from going out. But then Quinn on the steal. Able to take it away that time on the bad pass by Watchwood. Quinn going up and draws the foul. Aaron Quinn working both ends of the floor, getting the steal on the pass and then taking it down the floor and draws the foul. Will go to the line to shoot 2. And the free throw by Quinn is up and good. Quinn with 9 points. Connolly back in, replacing Bishop for the Eagles. Also Miller coming out now and Gabby Clary back in for La Crosse. One more free throw here for Quinn. That rattles out no good. Rebound pulled in by Ditchite for the Eagles. 56-29, Lady Reds, 6.5 minutes to play. Atchison for three. That one is short. Rebound in the hands of Simmons. Simmons back into the corner. The shot taken by Connolly, no good. Hahn with the rebound. Atchison now 1 for 10 from the floor in this ball game. Thomas, standstill three right side. That's off the back iron. Riley with the tap out, but went over the back to do it. As inside position that time by Sam Connolly. And Riley commits the foul. That is her second. And we'll walk it back down for double bonus. Timeout taken by Carthage. We'll take a break. A 60-second break. 6:11 to play. 56-29. Lady Reds in front. Lady Reds basketball on AM 1050 WLIP. 6:11 to go here in the ball game. 56-29. Carthage in front. Lady Reds in their home debut for the 2014-2015 season. And a much better brand of basketball here this afternoon than what we left Stevens Point with last Sunday evening. And Lady Reds back on the road Tuesday night down in Dubuque, Iowa. We'll have the broadcast for you at 5:45. Lady Reds and Loris on Tuesday night. First free throw by Conley, no good. Second one on the way and good. 1 for 2. Now they'll try and trap here in the backcourt. Thomas with some problems, gives it off to Riley. Riley will push it up to Quinn. Quinn will set it up now to Thomas. Thomas, Quinn, Kleiner, Riley, and Hahn out there for the Lady Reds. Quinn now works it around near wing to Thomas. Back up to Quinn, around to Kleiner. Shot clock down to 5. Kleiner penetrates the arc, now dishes back to Quinn. Now over to Thomas for three off the right wing as the shot clock expired. No good. Conley able to get the rebound. Sam Conley going coast to coast. Puts it up over Kleiner. No. Loose ball on the rebound. Picked up by Lacrosse as they'll swing it back up top. Michelle Ellis in the game, a freshman from Beloit. And takes the three. So that was Simmons with the three, the freshman out of Alma Center. 56-33 in favor of the Lady Reds. It's the third three-pointer by Lacrosse in this ball game. Lacrosse 3 for 13 from behind the arc. Hahn now penetrates, gets in the paint, and draws the foul as she put the shot up going left to right. Got to the right side of the rim, tried to reverse with the right hand, and drew the foul. Foul on Connolly, her first. 6th on the Eagles here in the second half, and Hahn at the free throw line where she is 2 for 3. 2 for 4 she missed on the first. 18 points, leading 3 players in double figures for the Lady Reds here this afternoon.
Returning for your Lady Reds, number 14,
Morgan Harris will check in for Aaron Thomas for the Lady Reds. Second free throw by Hahn is good. 19 on the afternoon for Alexis Hahn. 57-33, Lady Reds. Good bounce back here today for the Reds. I'm a little concerned about how they would come out here today, and I think Tim Bernero put it nicely in the pregame as the three ball up and in by Connolly once again. Was looking to see the character of this team as they turn it over on the press. Harris turned it over and a quick in and out shot that time, and then Riley traveled with the basketball. Turnover by Carthage. It's their 7th turnover here of this second half. So Lacrosse will inbound in the offensive end. And they can get it. Since it wasn't tipped, they can go all the way across the center line. And now we got a timeout taken here by Lacrosse. Crosse will take the timeout. It's going to be it'll be a full timeout. We'll keep it here with 4:22 remaining to remind you that we have Redmond basketball coming up shortly. A 4 o'clock scheduled tip between the Redmond and UW Lacrosse men. We'll have that broadcast for you as soon as we wrap up our Lady Reds broadcast. Kind of a early doubleheader. As you follow the Redmen and Lady Reds, you know Saturdays in conference, we've got the doubleheader games. So Scott DeLabio and I are going to practice our doubleheader technique here today. Our engineer back at the WLIP studios. Practice that little bit of a dance here this afternoon. A couple other scores. Games in progress involving CCIW teams. Boy, Illinois Wesleyan has stormed out here in the second half, outscoring Stevens Point 23-4 to claim a 47-38 lead over Stevens Point midway through the second half in Stevens Point this afternoon. Meanwhile, Wartburg and Elmhurst in a dogfight down at the Faginal Hall in Elmhurst. 67-66 Wartburg leading Elmhurst by 1. The only two games in progress right now. Here it's a 57-36 advantage. Again, the Lady Reds jumped out to a 10-2 start here in this second half, holding the Eagles scoreless for the first 5.5 minutes of this second half. They also held them scoreless for nearly 7 minutes in the first half. As with it now is Ditchite working over her shot, going over Morgan Harris, and then the battle for the rebound, and a foul called on Erin Quinn, her third. A lot of fouls here today by the Lady Reds. Lots of 3s and 4s showing up in the foul total here. At the free throw line is Michelle Ellis. Just her third ball game of the year. Makes the first of 2 free throws as Riley checks out. Boardman back in for the Lady Reds. Missing the second free throw, Quinn with the rebound. 4:10 to play, a 20-point Lady Red lead. Harris around to Quinn, far side Kleiner. Back to Morgan Harris. The Kleiner now on the drive to the free throw line, backs it off with the dribble. Shot clock down to 8. Quinn now high on the right, driving, trying to work on Simmons. Back out to Kleiner for 3. That one settles in. Casey Kleiner with her first triple this afternoon. Make that her second three-pointer this afternoon. She is 2 for 7 on the 3 ball. 6 points today for Kleiner. 60-37 Lady Reds, 3.5 to play. Conley with it now, into the corner to Simmons. Guarded by Kleiner. Reversing all the way around the left corner now. Conley dribbling out of the corner, lost it, got it back in the paint, kicks it back out to Simmons for 3. That's no good. Rebound Hahn. Able to snare the rebound away from Clary. Carthage will bring it down. Work the shot clock here as we approach 3 minutes remaining. Kleiner to Boardman. Over the top to Hahn. Too strong through her hands and out of bounds. 14th turnover committed by the Lady Reds here this afternoon. Riley Prochnow will check in for the first time. Prochnow, a 5'9 freshman from Wheeler, Wisconsin. She prepped at Colfax High School, making an appearance here for La Crosse late. 2:45 remaining. Eagles with the ball. Ditchite with it, swings it back out to Clary. Now back into the hands of Simmons. Simmons working on Kleiner. Kleiner trying to deny her to the baseline, right side. Now back out, goes to Ellis. Ellis shot no good. Boardman with the rebound. Gives it up to Morgan Harris. 2:25 to play. Lady Reds will go to 2-1 on the season. La Crosse going to fall to 3-2 on the year. Again, I think you schedule teams out of the Wisconsin League. That's good scheduling on your part. As Boardman inside, nice feed from Kleiner to lead her to the basket on the left block. And Boardman able to finish now with 12. Good another timeout here for Eagles, as I think Lois Heron wants to draw up a play here with some of her young players and get a few more of her younger players in here with 1:55 remaining. Carthage going to get Morgan Vukovic in. Vukovic, a freshman from Mukwonago High School, a 6'1 center. Get her Tim Bernero going to give her some action here in the final minute 55. Well, it's always good to get the Wisconsin League scheduled, I think, as far as strength of schedule goes. And Whitewater, Oshkosh, Platteville women, lacrosse, I think that's all going to help you, I think, in the long run. Balance it off. Those teams always tough. As the Redmen will find out too. They'll play lacrosse this afternoon and then head out to the UW Platteville on Tuesday night. So regional games always important. And again, tournament selection committee, when they get together, if you don't get the automatic qualifier and you're going to rely on your resume, you want to have a good strength of schedule. You want to have a good record against regionally ranked opponents and wins in region. And that always helps too. What is your record in region? I think between the CCIW and the WIAC, when you cross-schedule between those two leagues, it's going to benefit all 16 teams. Now Conley with it off the inbound. It's stolen away by Quinn. Quinn will take the timeout here to save the possession, as she was double teamed on the sideline right in front of the lacrosse bench. That'll also be a full timeout here. Lacrosse down to 1 timeout remaining. Lady Reds have 3. Game comfortably in hand here for the Lady Reds, leading 62-37. So the Reds will have games this week at Loras and then home against University of Chicago. That'll be another good regional action. Through the last couple years, Lady Reds and the Chicago Maroons have played some good basketball, and games down to the wire. And Wesleyan just blowing out Stevens Point on the road this afternoon. The Wesleyan women leading UW Stevens Point 58-40, outscoring the Pointers 34-6 in that second half, still with 7 minutes to go in that contest. Wartburg pulling away from Elmhurst late. Looks like that's going to go final here, 72-68. So Wartburg goes to 4-0 and hands the Blue Jays their first loss of the season. So Blue Jays fall to 3-1 on the year. Illinois Wesleyan, if they hang on with that ball game, will go to 3-0 on the year. Carthage will get to 2-1 with the victory here today. As Conley nearly stole the pass, picked up by Riley. Riley in the offensive end, minute and a half to go. Carthage trying to work some clock here. As Vukovic looking inside, ball deflected away. We get a tie-up on the loose ball, a held ball. It'll be lacrosse basketball here with the possession arrow favoring the Eagles.
To jump ball, Eagles basketball.
Amanda Genge in there now for the Lady Reds, along with Morgan Vukovic. Also out there, Taylor Benninghaus. Benninghaus out of Howards Grove, Wisconsin for the Lady Reds. Morgan Harris out there as well. We got a whistle and a foul. Foul's going to go on Taylor Benninghaus. The 5'9" freshman for the Lady Reds picks up the foul. That will put Connolly on the line for the double bonus. That one rattles out, no good. Second one. That one rattles out, no good. Riley gets the rebound for Carthage. Lady Reds will push it up. They have a 25-point lead here late as we go under a minute remaining. Riley wants the 3 out of the right corner, barely drew iron, and Conley will get the rebound. Conley down the floor. She'll take it coast to coast around Morgan Harris. Brief contact there. Boy, I don't know if I'd let that one go here late, but call Morgan Harris for the slight bump, and that's her first. Double bonus, Conley back at the line shooting 2. Carthage led wire to wire today. La Crosse never had a lead. Reds jumped out to a 32-18 halftime lead. 10-2 start to the second half. And it's been on cruise control since here for the Lady Reds. 62-39. Good defensive effort today by the Lady Reds, holding La Crosse to 27% from the floor. Out rebounding the Eagles 46-35 and forcing 22 Eagle turnovers today. Riley with it here in the final 30. A drive to the basket. Shot block. Genge comes away with it. They have to put it up, and they don't recognize that the ball did not touch the rim. Shot clock violation on the Lady Reds. So the Eagles will put it in play with 19 seconds to go. Clary with it now. Turnaround right hand shot drops in from the left block. Gabby Clary with the bucket. Final 6 seconds. Morgan Harris across midcourt. She'll dribble it out, and the Lady Reds go to 2-1 on the year with a 62-41 victory over UW La Crosse. The second meeting between these two schools, and the series now evened at 1-1. Lady Reds go to 2-1 on the year. The Eagles fall to 3-2, splitting their road trip between CCIW teams, winning last night at North Park and dropping one here to the Lady Reds in Kenosha. Again, your final score: Carthage Lady Reds 62, UW La Crosse 41. We will pause and take a 2-minute break. We'll run down the final numbers here from this Lady Reds game. We'll visit with head coach Tim Bernero. All that coming up in the Lady Reds post-game report right after this 2-minute break on AM 1050 WLIP. John Weiser back with you at the Tarble Arena, where this afternoon the Lady Reds pick up their second win of the season, knocking off UW La Crosse by a score of 62-41. This one really never in much doubt, as the Lady Reds led wire to wire here today, as they opened up a 32-18 advantage at halftime. Started the second half holding La Crosse scoreless for the first 5.5 minutes, and a 10-2 run to begin the second half, and La Crosse unable to come back at all here in this second half. Not really much of a threat. Lady Reds did it by defense here today, as they held the Eagles to 28% from the floor, 13 of 45, just 4 of 15 from three-point range, and out-rebounded the Eagles 47-35, limiting the Eagles to just 9 offensive boards in 40 minutes of play, and they forced 22 turnovers today en route to the win. Neither team shot the ball well, but as I said, I think when we talk with head coach Tim Bernero, I think he's going to be happy with the defensive numbers here today. A lot of crooked numbers in that rebound category, and a much better job on the assist to turnovers today. 17 assists and 16 turns by the Lady Reds, and very active Lady Reds, as they get two blocks and 8 steals, part of that 22 turnovers. So half of those errors by the La Crosse forced by the quick hands of the Lady Reds. Carthage put 3 players in double figures here today. Alexis Hahn leading the way, led all scorers with 19 points. Hahn 8 of 14 today, 3 of 5 from the line. Just missed out on a double-double, as did Taylor Boardman today. Hahn with 19 points and 9 boards. Taylor Boardman 12 points and 9 rebounds. 11 points for Aaron Thomas today. Good to see her get on track offensively. 11 points on 4 of 11 shooting. But again, active on both ends of the floor. Picked up 4 rebounds, had a couple of assists, a couple of steals this afternoon for the Lady Reds as well. Lady Reds also holding the Eagles without a double-digit score here today. Sam Connolly with 8 points on 1 of 6 shooting. They took Rachel Atchison out of her ball game today. That was the key, I think, today as well. Talking with Tim Bernero before the game, was very leery of Rachel Atchison. She took over that ball game last night at North Park, scoring 25 of her game-high 29 points in the second half of that ball game and scored the winning basket on the layup as time expired for the win at North Park last night. But today, different story. Rachel Atchison, 1 for 10. That was a three-pointer, and finished the game with just 4 points in 27 minutes of action. So really nice job by the Lady Reds defensively, and I think this is a very good bounce-back game for the Lady Reds. Put them in a good frame of mind going into the Thanksgiving holiday with a road game Tuesday night at Loris and then a home game Sunday against the University of Chicago. So get back on the winning track. And I know that was the talk after the game Sunday at Stevens Point. Girls chattering up a little bit. They couldn't wait to get back home, and they knew they were going to play 2 of their next 3 at home and practice at home. And with the volleyball tournament last weekend here at Carthage and the NCAA taking over the building, it led for some disjointed practices at a couple of the high schools here in town to try and get through that. So Lady Reds back into more of a comfortable routine, and I think that showed here today, leading wire to wire in picking up the win, 62-41, to go to 2-1 on this young season, and then they'll head to Dubuque on Tuesday night to take on Loris. But so we'll get head coach Tim Bernero settled in here and get him set up as Lady Reds pick up a nice win here today, and get Tim wired up here and ready to go. And Coach, a very good win here today, and I think you're pleased with both ends of the floor today, and as most coaches are, probably more with the defensive effort here today.
Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job. We're going to have to, clean some of it up because we 22 fouls. That wasn't unrealistic the way we were playing, but I thought we were aggressive where we needed to be defensively. We bothered them a little bit with some of the stuff, kind of took them out of some of the stuff, especially early, and we're able to kind of, as we turned out, get away from them on the boards and shoot the ball. We didn't shoot the ball great, but you're right, the defensive end kind of carried this one.
I thought the part today was you came out, as you said, aggressive right from the opening tip. There wasn't any lag. You took control. Your girls took the control of the game here early on. Raced out to that quick 10-point, 11-point lead early, and got comfortable right away.
Yeah, it was nice. I think we did a good job. After seeing what happened last night with the Atchison kids scoring 25 points and a half, that's hard to do. So we wanted to get after them a little bit. We had some. We're a little less deep than we've been, so the foul trouble can bother us a little bit right now, and we're working through that. But we held her to 1 for 10, and she only made 1 3 off, and it was that one's a little on me. I mean, we switched to a zone sort of to protect the foul trouble a little bit, and we just we didn't recognize her as quickly as we probably should have. But I thought the one thing we needed to get a little better at once we got ahead, like you said, John, got comfortable, is we needed to make them work a little bit more defensively. I mean, if you're making 10, 15, 10 or 12 threes in a game, then those ones in transition quick or 2 passes or 1 pass into the shot clock are okay, but we were 4 for 24 today. And in the second half, I haven't really looked at it yet, 2 for 14, and we were pretty freely just letting them go. I mean, we didn't have to do that. We could have made them guard a little more, and as it turned out, you could see that when we did, we started breaking them down inside. And that's kind of how we're designed.
15 offensive rebounds help you there when you're not shooting the ball well. That at least saves some of those possessions for you to get the ball back and reload.
Right. In the first half, I think a great kind of understated job by Allison Riley. I think she had 8 rebounds total, and I think she had 4 offensive rebounds in the first half. So maybe I'll get on her about not getting them in the second half, but I think she did a great job at doing what you said. She kept possessions alive, got us more chances to get possessions and keep the ball away from them, and that was a big difference. I mean, at halftime the rebounding was pretty close, and that's one thing this team's sort of showing so far. That we're again plus 12 today, and that's always. We get a lot of defensive rebounds between Taylor and Lex. They do a really good job on that. Quinn goes in and gets them, and then we get Riley and some of those guys to help you with that. That certainly makes a big difference.
cut down on the turnovers today as well. 16 is a much more manageable number than 24.
Yeah, we talked about that before the game. And turnovers are a tricky thing because we'd like to be aggressive. We're not trying to hold the ball, but you don't want them to be afraid to try to make plays in transition. And it seemed like we had 6 turnovers at halftime. I was really happy with that. So we got to 16, still a good number for the second half. But if you went and looked at it, the ones in the second half were kind of, in transition, a bad pass against the press. If somebody's wide open, we kind of threw it behind them. A couple of little precision things that you should be able to make plays of, and we didn't cleanly make all of those. So there's game 3, we're still growing a little bit, but it's going to get tougher.
Helps the confidence level now. You've got 2 games coming up Thanksgiving week here now. You've got the road game at Loris. You've got a gome game against Chicago. No gimmies by any stretch, but to build some confidence now, knowing that you can bounce back from a game such as last Sunday and come back here at home and play much better.
Yeah, and for the way I like us to play, we weren't really efficient offensively, and part of that was because we were a little too loose with the 3 that wasn't falling. We were only 39% from the floor, but we held them to 28, so that's a good thing. I've just kind of following scores, and Loris has been averaging 80-plus points a game, so we're going to have to do a better job defending them and get some points of our own to kind of make that game, something we feel comfortable with.
You controlled the pace today. That's what you wanted to do. You got out there and really controlled the flow here, I thought, for much of the game.
Right, and I think what they saw, you would think most people that know that we've had a pretty good run the last few years. When they saw us get beat by Luther, I'm sure everyone ran to that film and said, what happened? Well, they pressured them and they turned it over 26 times. So this team, I'm not sure presses as a rule, but they were going to try that, and that's a good idea to prove that we can handle it. And I thought we handled it better today than we did, and we talked about it after the game a little bit. We did a really pretty good job today. But you have, it's a 40-minute, do your job, be in the right place, make the right plays. I mean, it's not a kind of like you're playing chess, but you have to be able to understand that, hey, there's consequences for everything. And we got comfortable in this game, like you said, but there's going to be times when the game's within 2 possessions, 1 possession, where you have to be in the right place. And if you're not there defensively, or if you make a silly play defensively or turn the ball over offensively, it can cost you a game. And that's something we want to grow from here and keep getting better at.
Saw a little bit more communication out there with the girls today. The Lady Reds that looked like, I know you talked about it in the pregame, you wanted to see some more of that, a little more talking through situations out there.
Right, and that's the thing, you can coach them and program them sort of as much as you can, but when the game gets going, we still have the timeouts and chances to talk to them, but it's a lot easier and a lot more productive, I think, when they can communicate, because no matter where you're sitting up here or where I'm sitting on the bench, you see it and you see what's going on. But when you're actually in the heat of it and you're getting screened and you're getting bumped around, there's sometimes they come up with some good ideas too. And you go, okay, and they'll, especially the older kids will go, well, hey, this, even though we looked at it and practiced it and it worked, most of the game, sometimes there's ways you go, okay, well, if you think you can get them, get to it better that way or run our offense better that way, they're right in the middle of it, and they sometimes see stuff even better than we do. So you're always willing to and open to their suggestions. So that's why when they communicate stuff to each other, it just makes it a lot easier for that stuff to kind of get changed and get adjusted.
Look ahead a little bit here. You mentioned briefly Loris, 80 points per game, so they like to get it up and down the floor. So it's going to be a test here to try and control the pace, particularly on the road Tuesday night down in Dubuque.
Right. And they've been pretty good. They won their league last year. They've got a good group back. I mean, they grew some confidence last year by winning their conference. I mean, we beat them pretty good, when we played them last year. But they're kind of growing into being a pretty good team, and they they're on their home court. You always hear in football and different sports where they talk about trap games. The game before Thanksgiving and Christmas are always the trap games, and I'm hoping that they're more in that mindset than we are. I'm going to make sure that our kids aren't, because you get a lot of, well, we're going shopping when we get home on Wednesday, and I got to get my bags packed and all that stuff. They want to go home for a couple days for Thanksgiving, which is certainly understandable and well deserved. But you got to focus for the next 2 days on getting ready to play Loris, and then you got to focus on 40 minutes on the court. Then you can enjoy all the stuff you want with going home and spending some time with the family.
Little inside joke on this now. This will be, what, 4 trips to Dubuque this year? 3.
We went once on the scrimmage. We'll be there Tuesday, and we'll be there. So it'll end up being 3 because we're going, when we go to Co in a couple weeks, we're playing at Clark on the way back. So I don't know.
You get a key to the city?
I don't know. Should I get some kind of discount or something? I'm not ARP yet, but I don't know. Maybe there's a team discount for going to honorary citizens of Dubuque and whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it seems, I don't know. We go in there for business. I don't think I've been able to see the fun side of Dubuque yet, but
Is there a fun side?
Somebody must think there is. So there's a bunch of people out there, but we'd like to. The fun side for us would go out there, win a game, and get on the bus and go home and enjoy a couple days off for Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, Coach. Hey, Coach, congratulations. A nice win here today. 62-41 over La Crosse. Congratulations, and we'll see you Tuesday. We'll have the game down there in Dubuque.
Okay, thanks a lot, John.
You bet. Head coach Tim Bernero joining us on our post game here. A jubilant Carthage Happy Humans here today. 62-41, your final here at the Tarble Arena in Kenosha. 3 players in double figures for the Lady Reds. Alexis Hahn with 19, Taylor Boardman with 12, Aaron Thomas with 11. Rest of the scoring, Aaron Quinn with 9, Casey Kleiner with 6. She didn't have her shot today, but she doled out 5 assists today. Morgan Harris with 3, and 2 points for Allison Riley. As they hold La Crosse without a player in double figures today, Sam Connolly with 8. Leading the Eagles in scoring, Jenna Anderson with 5, Mackenzie Miller with 5, Michaela Simmons with 5, Gabby Clary with 5. 4 points each for Maggie Bishop and Rachel Atchison. As you heard us mention, Atchison with 29 last night in the win over North Park. Today she was 1 for 10 from the floor and just 4 points. 2 points for Kara Selk, 2 for Sarah Watrud, and 1 point for Michelle Ellis as the Lady Reds hold the Eagles to just 26% shooting in the second half, 28% in the game, and go to 2-1 on the year with a 62-41 victory. The Eagles now 3-2 on the season. That'll wrap up our Lady Reds broadcast here this afternoon. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with you here in about 5 minutes or so. At straight up 4 o'clock, we'll have our Redmond pregame show. And then it'll be Redmond basketball this afternoon as the Carthage Redmond will take on the UW La Crosse men in the 3rd place game of the Carthage Classic here at the Tarble Arena. John Weiser saying stay tuned. Redmond basketball shortly. Again, your final here from the Tarble. Carthage 62, the Lady Reds 62, UW La Crosse 41. Back in just a couple of minutes here on 1050 WLIP.